Tosh,
Okay.
did we worked at Red Lobster together, right?
Yes, for a couple of years.
What years were we in Red Lobster?
Oh my God. Well, you were selling t-shirts out the back of your trunk back then, so before, that's before you and LL got together.
Uh-huh.
So that was, oh my God, in the 80s.
Yeah, it must have been about 89, right?
About. Yeah,
All right.
even I think it was a little bit before that because I graduated. Now you're telling my age, Damon,
I'm
but
sorry.
but it was about 87, 88, I would say.
Wow, and it's been good. We've been friends ever since, and I hope you're good. And thank you for checking on me. But I want our people right now to learn from you and learn how to um, fix your credit, or not even fix your credit. Some things you should do to help your credit. And I like to tell a story all the time about how my credit was super. Well, I guess it was super low when I met you, and one or two things had happened. I had an old Nokia flip phone or some crap like that the bill was being sent to another house, and that's when I was suffering from overballing. I had a whole bunch of houses, and my little bill for like $70 a month or something like that was like ruined my credit, and then one or two other things had hurt my credit because I don't know, didn't get a bill right on time, or I moved, or I kept it in a suitcase, or whatever the case is, and my credit was bad, and you told me you can help me with it, and you did help me. And a lot of people here may be saying, well, I don't have those problems. I have massive problems. I got laid off of work and things of that nature. But let me ask them, what are certain things that people can do, some tips right now that you can tell people about their credit score and how they can keep their credit score at a certain height?
Right. Especially now, the best thing and advice I can give is to contact your creditors. If you know that you lost your job or you know that there's a loss of income, to contact them, let them know exactly what's going on because they have special programs just for us to help us with our situations when we lose our jobs, when we lose finances, when we lose a spouse.
And
Um,
who has special programs? Is it the creditors or the government or both?
the creditors. Like right now, if people are going through something financially, which a lot of us are, call that institution, let them know, hey, I want to put my payment towards the end of my loan. A lot of people don't know this because they were never taught this. But you can call them and tell them, hey, I need 2 more months to catch up with my bills because I lost my job or I lost income. And they'll work with you. 9 times out of 10, they will work with you.
Now, can somebody go on and look at American Express and punch in the keywords to just before I even get on the phone with the agent? I go, okay, here's what they do. Here, there, like I punch in credit distress, lost my job, lost significant other. I mean, can they punch in? Is it listed in some of the areas on any of these creditors, or that's just a play by ear?
Honestly speaking, Damon, the best thing to do is to get a real live person on the phone because it's time sensitive. And sometimes when things are basically going through an automated service or whatever, you don't want to trust that. You want to make sure that they get the job done, that they follow and actually the request that you have, they implement it. Because 30 days later, if it's not, it's going to be a late pay on your credit, and you don't want that.
What's the rules
That's
about?
going to hurt.
Go ahead. What did you say?
No, that's going to hurt even worse than basically, when you wait around and it doesn't get done, because a lot of times they don't follow up with what they're supposed to. And you want to make sure you hold them accountable. When you call, you get the name of the person you spoke to, and you want to make sure you document that as well. When I send out things to institutions for my clients, I always send a certified return receipt only because they have to sign for that document. So they can't say, I didn't get it.
So if you say that there's a negative report on because I know there's some kind of way you do this. If there's a negative report on your credit and you send something, there's what's legally they're supposed to do. They're supposed to confirm it, dispute it, and if they don't do it in a certain amount of time, that thing automatically gets removed. Or tell me, how does that work?
So they have within the federal law, they have 30 to 45 days to remove anything you dispute. If they do not comply within that time by law, they're supposed to remove it.
So you mean I said, hey, hey, whatever bank, this was fraudulent, or I sent the money in and you received it, but then you put that up on a negative account, and they have to either say, here is our evidence that you did not send it, or they have to say, if they don't reply in 30 to 40 days, they automatically have to remove that negative mark.
They're automatically supposed to remove it. And sometimes you may have to contact them and send more than one letter because a lot of times they don't want to remove it. So that's where the frustration comes from. But by you having your proof that you sent a certified return letter to them, you have proof. So if you have to go to court, if they don't remove it, and a lot of times when you even mention court, they don't like that at all.
Right,
They do not.
because now all of a sudden they either can remove this thing, and or they got to spend for legal.
Exactly. And they don't want, first of all, they don't want the bad publicity, and they don't want to be dragged through court because it's going to cost them more money to go and get a lawyer to represent or whatever, their legal department to come travel to where you are, because when you sue a creditor, they have to come to your state where you are and where you file that motion. They don't want to do that. It's going to cost them more money to do that. So a lot of times, 9 out of 10, they're going to delete it anyway. They don't want that frustration.
What about when, I remember, and I've learned so many things, I forgot half of them. I remember a couple of years ago, probably about 20 years ago, somebody said, call your credit card company, you find out you're at a 20% interest rate, just tell them you want it reduced, and if not, they're going to say no at first, but if not, just say, I'll cancel the card, and they reduce it. Does that still happen?
Negotiation. Listen, a lot of times they don't want to lose your business, so they will try to work with you and try to give you a rate. They may not give you exactly what you want, but they will come up with something to try to keep your business because they're not going to want to lose it. And that's so important, especially if you see that you're paying a big, large percentage when it comes to your credit card. You can negotiate that. Absolutely.
I remember you said to me your credit versus debt ratio, or I don't know if it was credit versus debt, but let's say you have a credit card and your credit card has $10,000 credit limit on it. How much should you be spending in there to stay in good credit standings against negative credit standings?
Okay, so normally I tell my clients to stay within 15%, but 30%, you should never go over 30% unless it's an emergency and you're going to pay it off or whatever right away, because when you go over 30% utilization rate, you're going to pay your credit is going to take a big drop, and you're going to pay more fees as well, because, and this is something that I'm not going to lie, Daymond, it changed my life. And I would challenge everybody to do this. If you carry any credit card balances, what I want you to do is calculate how much money are you paying these companies every single month you're carrying over that balance. When I did that and I calculated it, and then I not only did monthly, I did yearly, I paid all my credit cards off to zero, because I said I refuse to allow other companies to make this much money off of me when I can keep that and put that in my pocket. It's crazy how much we pay them.
So within a tough period, it's a tough time for a lot of people. And to say that if you had a $10,000 credit line and you're only saying, please only spend 3,000 of it, 30%. But a lot of people right now are going through tough times where they're floating a lot of things on their credit cards. If you had
Right.
6 credit cards, should you do, and you were in a tough time, should you go 50% on each one, or should you go 100% on one and leave the others at 30%?
I would do one. I would do one, and only because each card, you're going to lose 30%. You're going to lose points off of each card that you go over that rate from. And you don't want to put yourself, and then not only that, but you want to try to minimize as much as you can the debt, even though it is harder. But also with us being stuck in the house, I don't know about you, Daymond, but I've been able to save a little bit more money and able to do a little bit more things because I'm not going out to eat as much. I'm not, and I love to go out to eat, we're foodies, but I save that money. I pay down on things. because my goal is to be debt free, and it is hard for us right now. But if you can take that little bit of extra money and apply it to a card that you're not using, try to work on that one particular card first, and then use that one main card that may have the bigger balance, because you may have a little bit more room and flexibility before you get over that 30%. You know what I mean? And even if you do get to 30%, it won't hit you as hard as using all of your cards up to 30%.
What would you say to people who they got out there $50,000 in credit card debt? They're at about, they're averaging out 15% interest to 18, because it's almost like some companies can be very predatory. But right now, because of the interest rates, the government is damn near zero, and they have some equity in their house. Would you say, hey, you know what? Go take the equity out of your house if you can, pay down those credit cards, and I don't know if you want to cut them up or put them in a drawer or whatever the case is, but now you've transferred that 15% or 18% down to a 2% loan.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you
Right.
can pay off quicker, because if you were paying 18%, if you're paying an average of 20% on a credit card every single interest, and you were just paying the minimum, you're paying an average of $10,000 a year down on your credit cards, and you did not pay off any of the debt. You only paid them $10,000 interest on $50,000 of debt.
Exactly. That is one of the good things that you can do, to pulling out equity. If you can do that, because what you're doing is you're taking that one account and you're utilizing that, you're paying down everything else. So your credit score is going to jump up, okay, because you're knocking those other amounts of debt down. And once you do that, you basically are, you're showing it not only you're responsible as well, because you have all of these different accounts, but if you take one and you pay it down, that's going to save you so much money.
So can you give us some other things that I may not be thinking about? Because, what I just shared, or what the question I just had with you right there, is probably 3% of your knowledge. What other things can people do right now, while we're talking, to improve their credit and, and help themselves out?
Right. Well, one of the things I would definitely say, and this is in my book as well, 5 Critical Steps, don't
You have
be
a copy of the
afraid to
book right
open.
there? Where's the book? You have a
I
copy of it?
actually I do, but not on hand.
All right, no problem.
I'll get it for you. But hang on one second. But one of the things I would definitely do. Here we go.
All right, so it's mirrored. So read it off to me.
Okay. This book is a must-have. The Ultimate Credit Tracker, Tasha Terria.
Okay,
And
good.
basically, what I'm saying in there is, don't be ashamed to open your bills or whatever. Because a lot of times when you don't do that, you don't know if you're a victim of fraud. Somebody could have ran your credit cards up, and basically you have no idea. Especially now, a lot of fraud is it's at the highest point right now because of what we're going through. So you want to open up your mail. A lot of times people leave their mail there because they know it's a bill and they don't want to open it, but you need to open it. And you need to start taking responsibility to say, you know what? I know there's a bill, but I need to make a plan and start trying to do something about this.
All right, I got one.
The other thing is,
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
okay, the other thing is, stop being, if you're one of those people, like I know that I've always been, sometimes I don't like to ask for help, but never be embarrassed to ask for help, the help that you need to get you where you need to be with your credit. Because a lot of times, especially if you're a celebrity or whatever, one thing about you, Daymond, that I love, you was like, Tasha, I need help here. This is what's going on. And we were able to get that thing done quick because you listened.
Yeah.
You listened to what I told you to do, and you made it happen.
Yeah,
And that's the other.
don't take yourself too serious. That's not my area of expertise. That's why I had to call on you.
Right. But now you can walk in any place you want to and don't have to put nothing down pretty much. If you didn't have money, you still have good credit. So that's a good thing.
I got a question here
But
from this guy named William Poo Diaz. He says, what do I do if I had my credit low for a long time and I have old unpaid accounts that are over 10 years old? How do I erase them and start fresh?
Okay, first of all, that's over the statute of limitation because they're supposed to report only 7 years. When they go over 7 years of reporting, because a lot of times these collection agencies, what they do is like to resell your account. If it's over 7 years, you need to dispute it immediately because it shouldn't be on there. And the other thing that will help you is actually getting a secure credit card. If you have somebody, you can get a secure credit card on your own. With that, normally the process of that is taking a certain amount of money, putting it in an account, and using that credit card to buy groceries and gas and paying it right off. Don't try to carry any balances because what you want to do is show that you're responsible for it. And certain companies like Discover, they will watch you for a year, use your money for a year, and then they'll give you back your money, and then they'll allow you to have an unsecured account. So
So are you
and it
saying
helps.
I work with Chase, so I got to shout out Chase. So are you saying that credit card means that I go to Chase and I say, here's $500, let me get this credit card, and you go and just you only go up to $500 on your bills, and then they look at that as a history of payments, and they start thinking about, or they start increasing your credit because they see that you work within that system?
Right, like if you have a $500 credit card, what you do is you still stay within 15%, use it, pay it off. Use it, sometimes pay 2 or 3 payments in a month. Because what's happening is they're watching and monitoring your spending habits, and they are looking like, okay, within the 12 months, they're going to send you a card and say, here's your check, Mr. John, for the $500, and now you got your $500 back, and you have an unsecured credit card, you're using their money. And they will give you $1,000 instead of keeping you at $500 because you showed that you make consistent payments and that you are responsible. And that's all they want to see. So,
Okay, but you know what? I love to spend on my credit card that I pay off every month because I get miles. And I know that the 15% or 30%, but the ones that you're paying off every month, is that okay to spend over 30 or 40 or 50%? Because I'd rather do that to get the mileage, on flights or whatever the case I need.
well, what I would do and definitely recommend is you contact the credit company who you have the account with. Find out when they do their reporting to the credit bureaus. This is a little trick or whatever that I've learned a long time ago. Once you find out when they report to the credit bureaus, if they report on the 15th, you need to make sure that balance is down to 15% by the 15th. Okay? If they report the 30th, then you have till the 30th to make sure that you pay that down, because now what's happening, Daymond, is that you're not losing any points. You're keeping your ratio down, even though you done maxed it out. As long as it's paid before they report it, you're good.
I got a question here from Sterling. He says, what about student loans?
Student loans, depending on if you're in default or whatever, but it works a little differently with student loans because it's not a credit limit. You don't have a credit limit. It's a loan. Like when you go and like you get a car loan or auto loan, you don't have a revolving amount of money where you can take that money and spend it again once you pay it down. So it's a little different with a student loan. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So even though you can pay it down, it looks good when you pay it down, but you're not getting that money back where you can use it again once you pay it off.
Interesting question came here, and I'm gonna ask this one, and then I'm gonna let you just give us a couple more tips in closing. Somebody just said they were incarcerated for a long period of time, and they're just coming home. How do they build their credit? So it's kind of like either the people who are either bankrupt or divorced or incarcerated, and they need to just start over at this point. What are the first steps that you would suggest to people like that?
It's so funny you asked me that because I'm actually putting a program together for inmates, empowering program for them because they do have to start from scratch and they don't have credit most of the time. But what you want to do is two things. You want to get a secure credit card. And if you go with Open Sky, they don't charge anything to do it. They don't pull your credit. You can just go, you have the money. You send them the money, they'll give you your card to come in the mail, okay? The other thing is you can piggyback off of somebody's good credit. Like, if I basically was your daughter, Daymond, I'll be like, Daddy, can you put me on that black card? Because I know that that's going to boost my credit like crazy because I know you spend and you pay off your bills. But you don't want to get on somebody's credit card that is over 30% or they're struggling or they don't pay their bills. You don't want to do that. You want to get on somebody and piggyback off of somebody who has excellent credit that may put you on the account but don't give you a card at all.
Oh, so they don't give you a card, because that's what I'm talking about. I give my daughter a card like that, it's over. You know what I mean? So,
No, you don't give them
all right. So you're
you don't give them a card.
so you can basically say, "Hey, grandma," or whatever the case is, because of course I'm everybody thinking right now like, all right, cool, I'm gonna ask my friend with good credit, but you get on theirs, but you tell them, don't give me a card.
Don't give me a card.
But how does that
But
how does that rate to your spending habit? The creditors can't tell your spending habit. All they're doing is off of the person who basically co-signed on you.
right. Basically, what that would look like is me piggybacking if I was your daughter off of your good credit. So all you would need to do, you would need to just add me as an authorized user, and my name is going to be attached to the account, but I don't have a card. So it's like I'm on there, but I'm not on. You know what I mean?
But what about when
Because I have no access.
but what about when what if my daughter, excuse me, goes out and gets other credit from other places because she's co-signed on mine here, and she gets it on her own over here. If she does bad spending habits, does that affect me?
No. Okay. So when you put somebody on as an authorized user, they're not a co-signer. You're just basically, because you can take them on or off anytime you want.
Right.
So I could put you on my account and have your name on there. You will not use the account, but you're going to piggyback. Like, I plan on doing it for my son once he, reach a certain age. I'll let him piggyback off my credit so that when he graduates college, he's going to have 800 credit score. You know what I mean? But I will not trust him to give him a credit card because I know he likes to spend. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, so like with your daughters, they like to spend or whatever. Their credit is their credit. Whatever accounts they have is on them. And you basically, all you're doing is just saying, hey, daughter, you're going to piggyback off of my credit. You're not getting a credit card, but it's going to help her because she's going to now get your payment history, if that makes sense.
With this pandemic, are you seeing, and of course I know you said call your creditors, I don't know what other people are doing because, of course, you have mortgages out there. You have people, I don't even know if you can renegotiate student loans. What are some tips that people can do right now? And maybe it is just call your creditor, but what are you seeing that are going on out there in the market right now with this pandemic?
Well, what I see is that people are waking up and they are calling their creditors saying, hey, I'm not working right now. I need to push my payments back, my car note, so you don't repossess it. So what they will do for you is they would say, well, how long do you think you need or whatever? You can go and tell them I need at least 2 or 3 months or whatever. Some of them will push you back until 4 months. So you won't have to make a payment for 4 months. So that's one of the things that's been helping. And what I tell my clients, take that extra money and pay down something else so that the situation. We don't know how long it's going to last, but we want to be prepared.
Do they want Do they want any proof? Because that's the case. Why not everybody just call and be like, yo, I lost my job, my man, and I can't pay the mortgage. Yo, I can't pay the car. Yo, I can't. Why does everybody just do that?
But you know what, Daymond? Just like we never knew about credit growing up, everybody don't know about this. So that's why everybody's not calling doing that, but they can. And that's why I want to start educating more people. Like, listen, you can call even with your house, your mortgage payment right now, Daymond, you can go and say, hey, I need you to push that mortgage payment back 2 months. I lost income. Even though you may be falling or whatever, it doesn't matter. They will push that back. A lot of people are doing that right now.
All right, so I'm calling up all my people and be like, yo, my new name is Crime and crime don't pay. That's what I can do right now,
It's not a crime. They have programs set up for you right now. If you call right now, you say, hey, I'm having problems with this or whatever. I thought I'll be able to pay it, but I need a little bit more time. They're going to work with you. Because what they don't want you to do is to go in default. They don't want that. They don't want to repossess your car. They don't want to take, and put you and do the bad credit thing. They can make more money. They may charge you more interest, a little bit more, but guess what? You won't have to pay that month or the next month or the next month. And it's worth it.
All right, Tosh, listen, I want people to learn from you. You can pin your, or you can put in the comments your book name while you're there. Of course, your Instagram right now, because I pinned it. Let me see if I can read it. The Instagram is Tasha
Terria.
Terria, Terria 2, right? And people can follow you. Do you give tips on your social media, or do they need to go to your book? Like, how can more people find out about this? Because a lot of times, many people right now, they've already witnessed what you're saying, but maybe they have a spouse or a child or a parent who needs to hear this, and they need to get your book because maybe the parent is a little older, they're not on social media. So what's the name of the book again?
Okay, it's called The Ultimate Credit Tracker. It's in Barnes and Noble. It's also in Walmart, and it's in Amazon. And basically, you can even go to www.ultimatecredit-tracker.com, and you can order the book from there as well. And this book is just basically helping us to track our credit scores. It has a lot of little different sheets that you can just every day you can use, monthly or whatever. If you're trying to clean up your credit, it's just a lot of good little things that we were never taught growing up.
And you can get your. I'm sorry to interrupt you. One last point. You can get your credit score by writing into, and it's free, right? So yeah.
Which yes, you can get your credit score or whatever. TransUnion, you want to write to them. Equifax and Experian.
And it's free.
Those three are, and it's free, especially now with the pandemic. All you have to do is ask them. They have to give it to you for free.
All right. So everybody, I think that's the first thing everybody should do in case. I mean, obviously, I know there's online sites. I mean, they all have online stuff. But if you just want to have it in your hands, and you're one of those people who really weren't aware of that, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, you write into them, you ask for a request of your credit score, so you could just have it right there as you're looking at all your bills laid out, and you can start to make the small adjustments, but make sure you do that. So, Tosh, thank you so much. Thank you for being a friend of mine for so many years, from everywhere from Red Lobster to seeing you grow to be an author and a woman who's helping people, and you can help a lot of people here. They can reach out to you personally. I know you have a business, and you are not expensive. Not comparison to a lot of the other things and the programs I see out there, and you're very hands-on. You take it personal, and you try to change lives. So I appreciate everything.